Long before success takes physical form, it exists within the invisible laws of metaphysics. The universe manifests success by responding to your inner state, not your effort or struggle. As you listen, ancient truths awaken, revealing how alignment with these unseen forces reshapes your reality from within. Metaphysics: How the Universe Manifests Success. Introduction. At the heart of manifestation lies an eternal truth. Success exists first as a vibration, a subtle energy pattern, before materializing into physical form. The outer world mirrors your inner state with unwavering precision. Your consciousness shapes reality not through mechanical action, but through the quality of your sustained awareness. The universe responds not to your wishes or wants, but to your energetic signature, the sum total of your thoughts, feelings, and beliefs. This signature broadcasts continuously, instructing the invisible field to arrange circumstances that match its frequency. When you truly understand this principle, you realize that manifestation is not about acquiring what you lack, but about aligning with what already exists in potential form. Many spend countless hours consuming information about manifestation while avoiding the essential work of shifting their own vibration. Knowledge without application remains theoretical. The law of attraction operates through direct experience, through your moment-to-moment state of being. Your emotional state is the language through which you communicate with the universe. Each feeling sends ripples through the quantum field, attracting resonant experiences. Joy attracts joyful circumstances. Peace attracts peaceful conditions. What you consistently feel becomes your living reality. The key lies not in perfecting techniques, but in maintaining steady alignment with your desired state. The universe responds to authenticity, not performance. It recognizes and reflects back the energy you genuinely embody. This process requires neither struggle nor strain. It asks only for your willingness to hold the frequency of what you desire, to feel its reality before physical evidence appears. The universe handles the how when you master the now, your present moment state of being. Success comes not from external action alone, but from the invisible foundation of aligned consciousness. The outer world rearranges itself to match your inner conviction. Before we get into the book, comment, "I am ready," to affirm your intention to the universe. Part 1. The Mechanics of Inner Power. Chapter 1. The Turning Point Within. In the heart of a bustling city, there lived a woman named Lila Moore who spent countless hours watching success videos, reading manifestation books, and following prosperity teachers. Yet despite her dedicated study, her reality remained unchanged. One evening, exhausted from endless consumption of teachings, she simply sat in silence. In that quiet moment, something shifted. She felt, for the first time, the living presence of what she desired, not as a future hope, but as a current reality. The ancient wisdom speaks of this truth. Knowledge must transform into felt experience before the universe responds. The masters of old understood that mere intellectual understanding creates no ripples in the cosmic field. It is the alchemy of emotion that activates the law of attraction. Arthur Dune's journey mirrors this wisdom. For months he diligently repeated affirmations speaking words of abundance and success. Yet his circumstances remained static until he discovered the missing element: genuine feeling. The moment he infused his declarations with authentic emotion, his external world began to shift with remarkable speed. Within weeks, opportunities appeared that had seemed impossible before. These experiences reveal a fundamental truth. The universe responds not to words or thoughts alone, but to the vibrational frequency of your emotional state. When you feel the reality of your desire as if it already exists, you align with its energetic signature. This alignment becomes the bridge between potential and manifestation. The law operates through sensation, not information. Your body must know the feeling of your desired reality before the outer world can reflect it back. This is why silent communion often proves more powerful than endless study. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space where you won't be disturbed. Close your eyes and breathe deeply. Allow yourself to feel your desired reality as if it exists now. Let the warmth of accomplishment spread through your body. Don't label this feeling as future or someday. Simply bathe in the emotion of it being done. Let this feeling rewrite your expectations. The universe responds to this emotional signature, bringing into form what you have already accepted as real within. Remember, the practice lies not in perfect words or techniques, but in your ability to maintain the feeling of your desire as an existing reality. In this way, you speak directly to the field of infinite possibilities. Chapter 2. The Frequency of Decision. Inside each soul lies a turning point, that sacred moment when knowledge transforms from intellectual understanding into living truth. You have gathered wisdom like precious stones, collecting teachings and techniques as though preparing for some future awakening. Yet the universe whispers of a deeper truth. Transformation occurs not through accumulation, but through decision. Consider the merchant Cora Vale, who dwelt in the shadows of hesitation. She filled her shelves with manifestation methods, comparing approaches endlessly while her own power lay dormant. Each new teaching seemed to contradict the last, leaving her suspended in analysis. But then came the moment, that crystalline instant when she simply decided to embody the success she studied. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances aligned, but now. In that choice, the universe recognized its own reflection and began moving mountains on her behalf. This principle reveals itself throughout time. Decision carries a vibration that mere knowledge cannot match. It is the difference between studying the wind and becoming it. When you truly decide, you alter the fabric of reality itself. Your energy shifts from observer to embodiment, from student to master. Marvin Ross discovered this truth in the quiet hours before dawn in his struggling diner. Rather than simply hoping for success or following prosperity formulas, he made an energetic choice to inhabit abundance. He began moving through his empty restaurant as though it overflowed with satisfied customers. His decision carried such conviction that reality had no choice but to conform. Within weeks, people began arriving as if drawn by an invisible force, until chairs that had gathered dust now rarely cooled between patrons. These stories unveil an eternal law. The universe responds not to what you know, but to what you become. When you shift from gathering information to making an energetic decision, you activate forces beyond physical sight. Commitment is not mental assent, but vibrational alignment. Once you truly decide, the universe must respond, for it can only mirror what you energetically declare as truth. Ancient practice. Settle into a quiet space and choose one identity that feels inevitable, whether abundance, mastery, or any other truth you wish to embody. Close your eyes and breathe as though this identity already clothes you perfectly. With each breath, feel the reality of it wrapping more tightly around your being. Continue until this chosen truth feels as natural as your own name. Let each inhale strengthen your energetic signature until what was once a choice becomes your very atmosphere. Chapter 3. The Faith Circuit. You stand at the threshold of a fundamental truth. Belief is not a matter of force, but of frequency. Like the gentle flow of a river, authentic faith moves with natural grace, unburdened by the weight of doubt or the strain of desperation. In the quiet valleys of an ancient marketplace, there lived a merchant named Dora Pike. Each morning she would arrange her wares with meticulous care, yet her thoughts oscillated between confidence and uncertainty. Some days her stall flourished with customers, while on others it stood empty, a perfect reflection of her wavering faith. Through months of this turbulent dance, Dora noticed a pattern. Prosperity flowed most abundantly when she released her grip on worry and settled into a state of peaceful certainty. The law speaks through your emotional frequency. When you strain to believe, you create resistance in the very field meant to support you. True faith resembles the ease of breathing, natural, flowing, unforced. It is not a battle to be won, but a current to be joined. Ellis Ward discovered this truth amid the crumbling foundations of his enterprise. His business had begun to falter, yet the shift occurred not in his external circumstances, but in his relationship with unseen momentum. As his trust deepened into quiet knowing, dormant opportunities awakened. Closed doors swung open of their own accord, revealing pathways that had always existed, waiting only for his recognition. Your manifestations maintain themselves through sustained energetic coherence. Like a steady lamp illuminating the darkness, your unwavering faith becomes the voltage that powers creation. The universe responds not to the intensity of your belief, but to its consistency. Ancient practice of the current. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Feel the earth's supportive energy rising through your feet, climbing upward through your body like a golden stream of light. Allow this current to connect your vision to the infinite source of all creation. Maintain this glowing circuit, sensing your dream plugged into universal power. Rest in this sensation, knowing the energy flows ceaselessly, requiring nothing from you but acceptance. This is the voltage of manifestation, steady, effortless, and eternally present. Chapter 4. The Law of Emotional Gravity. Within the ancient teachings lies a truth as old as the stars. Your emotional vibration shapes the gravity of your existence. This sacred principle reveals itself through the tale of Hazel Dunn, whose journey illuminates the subtle forces that govern our reality. In a bustling city where opportunity seemed to flow past her door, Hazel carried the weight of resentment in her heart. Each slight, each perceived injustice, became another stone in the wall between her and abundance. Days stretched into weeks as blessings appeared to hover just beyond her reach, held at bay by the invisible force of her discontent. Yet in this season of delay, wisdom found her. Through quiet reflection, she discovered that her emotional state created a magnetic field, drawing experiences that matched its frequency. As she began releasing her grievances, First in small moments and then in deeper waves, the very atmosphere around her shifted. Opportunities that had seemed frozen began to thaw and flow. The universe operates through resonance, attracting circumstances that mirror your inner climate. Your emotions are not merely personal experiences. They are cosmic forces that shape the fabric of your reality. Like drawing all things of similar vibration into harmonious alignment. Henry Polk's experience brings this principle into sharper focus. Working in the financial district, he chose to conduct an experiment in consciousness. Before engaging with the day's demands or checking his devices, he would spend his early morning moments steeping himself in genuine appreciation. This practice, simple yet profound, created an energetic signature that the universe could not ignore. Within weeks, opportunities began arriving with unexpected speed, as if responding to an irresistible call. The ancient sages taught that gratitude holds a special power in the realm of manifestation. It is not merely a virtue to be practiced, but a force that creates an immediate shift in your energetic field. When you radiate authentic thankfulness, you establish a frequency that naturally attracts more reasons to be grateful. Remember, the world cannot resist a heart overflowing with appreciation. This is not theory, but natural law, as consistent as gravity itself. Your emotional tone becomes the gravitational force around which your experiences orbit. Sacred practice of gratitude's pull. Close your eyes and center your awareness in your chest. Imagine this space as a radiant planet, glowing with the warm light of gratitude. Feel this appreciation expanding outward, creating a magnetic field that draws blessings like moons into perfect orbit. Allow this sensation to deepen until you experience the dual nature of true gratitude, both perfectly at rest and infinitely powerful. Maintain this field until you sense the unity of these seemingly opposite states, knowing that in this balance lies the secret of effortless attraction. Chapter 5. The Mirror Law. Within the tapestry of creation lies a truth both beautiful and sobering. The world mirrors your innermost dialogue with unwavering precision. Nina Bliss walked through life assigning her circumstances to chance, blind to how her daily complaints painted the canvas of her reality. Each grievance about bad luck seemed to multiply, creating an echo chamber of misfortune that confirmed her perspective. The universe, in its infinite wisdom, reflects back not what you wish for, but what you consistently believe and express. Nina's revelation came when she noticed how her words about life's unfairness manifested in increasingly challenging situations. The mirror showed no bias. It simply returned her own projection with mathematical accuracy. This principle found its counterpoint in Gary Trent's transformative experiment. Understanding the reflective nature of reality, he began speaking to life as though it were a conscious friend, offering appreciation for even the smallest blessings. His shift from criticism to acknowledgement created ripples in the fabric of his experience. Where once he saw obstacles, opportunities emerged. When he spoke of abundance, channels of prosperity opened. The ancient wisdom teaches that your reactions are seeds planted in the fertile soil of consciousness. Each response to life's circumstances, whether bitter or sweet, returns multiplied, like a harvest reflecting the quality of what was sown. This multiplication factor explains why small shifts in perspective can create dramatic changes in circumstance. Your world is not a random collection of events, but a precise reflection of your emotional and verbal output. Every reaction sends waves through the quantum field, attracting experiences that match its frequency. This is not punishment or reward, but the impersonal operation of universal law. The sacred practice of mirror consciousness. As you move through each day, pause before every reflection, be it in windows, mirrors, or the situations life presents. In these moments of recognition, silently whisper the ancient acknowledgement, "I understand this is me." Watch as the external world responds to this acceptance, softening its edges to match your gentler awareness. This practice, handed down through generations of wisdom keepers, holds the power to transform your reality through the simple act of conscious recognition. Chapter 6. The Architecture of Belief. The world around you mirrors your inner dialogue with unfailing precision. Each thought you entertain becomes a seed planted in the fertile soil of universal consciousness, growing into the very experiences that shape your reality. A merchant named B. Rice discovered this truth through a remarkable transformation. Though her outer circumstances remained unchanged, she undertook an inner renovation of profound significance. Within the quiet sanctuary of her mind, she dismantled the fragile scaffolding of doubt and constructed new pillars of certainty. Where once stood hesitation about holding success, she built an unwavering knowing that prosperity was her natural state. The universe, ever responsive to inner architecture, began rearranging external events to match her renovated beliefs. Opportunities that had seemed distant now appeared at her doorstep, as if they had been waiting for her permission to arrive. Consider the contrasting tale of Oscar Lane, a talented artisan whose creations occasionally brought him recognition. Yet he treated each success as an accident, a fortunate anomaly that surely couldn't last. His belief system, built on the sandy foundation of doubt, could not sustain lasting prosperity. Just as water seeks its own level, his experiences inevitably fell to match his deeper convictions. These mirrored experiences reveal an eternal truth. Your beliefs are not mere thoughts floating in consciousness. They are the very pillars that support your reality. When you strengthen these inner structures, the outer world must reconstruct itself to reflect your new blueprint. The law operates with mathematical precision, responding not to what you wish for, but to what you accept as fundamentally true. The universe conspires to confirm your deepest beliefs about yourself and your place within it. This is not a punishment or reward, but rather the impersonal operation of cosmic law. Like a mirror that cannot show anything but what stands before it, reality reflects back the structure of your convictions with perfect fidelity. Ancient practice. Sit in quietude and envision your beliefs as pillars in a sacred temple, your temple of consciousness. For each pillar, recall a specific instance where life aligned with your positive expectations. Remember times when opportunity found you, when doors opened unexpectedly, when success flowed naturally. Let each memory strengthen these pillars until they form an unshakable sanctuary of certainty within you. Feel how this internal structure creates a permanent foundation for all that you wish to manifest. Chapter 7. The Magnetic Silence. In the depths of stillness lies a force more potent than any strategy, a power that shapes reality through pure intention. The universe responds not to endless activity, but to the crystalline clarity of a quiet mind. Ruby Claire spent years chasing solutions through constant motion, her mind racing between possibilities until exhaustion forced her into silence. In that unexpected stillness, she discovered a profound truth. Answers emerge not from endless seeking, but from allowing them space to surface. The moment she ceased her restless pursuit, wisdom flowed naturally, like water finding its course. The sacred art of stillness amplifies your creative force. When you quiet the endless chatter of thoughts, your intentions gain remarkable potency. Each desire broadcasts with greater clarity into the infinite field of possibility. Like a lake becoming perfectly still, your consciousness reflects truth with pristine accuracy. Malcolm Kerr witnessed this principle transform his business in ways no strategy could match. His daily ritual was simple: 20 minutes of pure silence before dawn. He made no other changes to his approach, yet his sales tripled within months. The difference lay not in what he did, but in the quality of energy behind his actions. His silent practice had aligned his frequency with success, allowing abundance to flow through natural channels. This ancient wisdom reveals that manifestation requires not constant doing, but moments of sacred stillness. When you pause the endless stream of thoughts, your true power awakens. Your intentions gain laser focus, cutting through the static of doubt and resistance. The universe responds to coherent energy. A scattered mind broadcasts weak signals, but a still mind emits commands of remarkable strength. Like a radio finding perfect reception, silence tunes you to the frequency of manifestation. Sacred practice. Before beginning any significant task or making an important decision, create 1 minute of complete stillness. Close your eyes and allow your intention to form naturally in your chest without forcing it into words. Feel it crystallizing into pure potential energy. Then, with gentle awareness, release this crystallized intention into the universe. Let the power of silence work through you, knowing that in stillness lies your greatest strength. This practice aligns you with the natural flow of manifestation, allowing your desires to materialize through the path of least resistance. The quiet mind becomes a perfect conductor for universal power. Chapter 8. The Power of Imagined Reality. In the hushed sanctuary of your mind lies a sacred workshop where reality is first molded. Before any desire materializes in the physical world, it must first be crafted in the chambers of imagination. A modest cottage stood atop a hill, its windows catching the morning light. Though this home existed only in Edna May's mind, she visited it daily, walking through its rooms, running her fingers along the smooth wooden banisters, breathing in the scent of fresh paint and possibility. She didn't merely picture this dwelling. She lived there in her heart, feeling the warmth of sunlight through the kitchen window, hearing the creak of the porch swing, experiencing the comfort of belonging. When keys to an identical house appeared 30 days later, she understood. Her emotional residency had preceded physical possession. This revelation unveils an eternal truth. Imagination is not escape, but preparation. The universe responds not to fleeting wishes, but to emotional certainty, to the frequency of one who already inhabits their vision. Yet many resist this sacred power, as Clyde Webb once did. Fear whispered that visualization was frivolous indulgence, mere daydreaming that distracted from real action. His resistance created an invisible barrier, blocking the very abundance he sought. Only when he recognized imagination as the blueprint room of reality did circumstances begin to shift. The moment he allowed himself to feel successful before evidence appeared, success started seeking him out. The practice of creative preview calibrates your entire being to the frequency of fulfillment. When you inhabit a vision with such completeness that it feels like memory, you transmit an unshakable signal to the universal field. This is not pretense. It is preparation. This is not fantasy. It is frequency alignment. The mystics of old understood this truth. What you repeatedly experience within eventually manifests without. They knew that emotion is the bridge between thought and form, between vision and visibility. Ancient practice. The memory of tomorrow. Find a quiet space where interruption cannot reach you. Close your eyes and step into your chosen vision with every sense awakened. See the details with crystal clarity. Feel the textures beneath your fingertips. Breathe in the scents. Hear the sounds that surround you. Let your body experience the emotions of this reality as if it were happening now. Stay in this experience until the feeling matches the intensity of a cherished memory. When you open your eyes, carry this vibration forward as your new normal. You have just previewed what the universe is already arranging to deliver. Chapter 9. The Alignment of Words and Feeling. In ancient times, masters taught that words carried vibrational essence, not merely sound, but power. Yet this power awakens only when speech and spirit align as one force. Tess Ford filled her days with positive declarations, repeating them like empty echoes against hollow walls. "I am abundant," she would say, while her energy whispered scarcity. "Success flows to me easily," she would recite, as tension gripped her shoulders. Her words floated like leaves on water, never sinking to the depths where transformation begins. Then one morning, something shifted. Rather than rushing through her affirmations, she paused to truly feel each phrase. "I am abundant" became not a hope, but a remembrance, warming her chest as naturally as sunlight. Her voice changed, not in volume, but in resonance. When her energy finally matched her declarations, the universe responded swiftly, as if it had been waiting for this authentic signal all along. The realms of manifestation operate through this delicate marriage of word and feeling. Each spoken intention must find its mirror in your vibration, creating a unified field of attraction. When you speak prosperity, while internally flinching from wealth, you transmit confusion to the universal field. Ralph Moss discovered this truth through costly experience. His words praised abundance daily, yet beneath them lurked an ancient bitterness toward those with money. He spoke of wealth while unknowingly resenting it. His finances remained stagnant until he recognized this discord. Through patient inner work, Ralph aligned his deeper feelings with his spoken desires. He cleared the hidden resistance, allowing his praise of prosperity to flow from genuine appreciation. Only then did his financial reality begin to transform, as if the universe had finally received a clear, unified signal. This wisdom echoes through the ages. It is not the words themselves, but their marriage with genuine feeling that holds creative power. When your declarations arise from authentic alignment, they carry the weight of truth. The universe responds not to what you say, but to the harmony between your speech and your energetic signature. Think of it as tuning an instrument. A string may be struck, but until it vibrates at exactly the right frequency, it cannot produce its intended note. Similarly, your words must vibrate in perfect harmony with your inner state to produce manifestation. Ancient practice. The resonance of truth. Find a quiet space where your voice can rise unhindered. Choose one statement of truth, not what you wish were true, but what you can genuinely feel is true in this moment. It might be as simple as, "I am at peace," or "I am growing stronger." Speak this truth aloud, allowing your attention to rest in your heart center. Notice the physical sensation that accompanies these words. Does warmth spread through your chest? Does energy tingle in your hands? This bodily response is your indicator of alignment. Continue speaking this truth, focusing on the feeling it generates. Let the warmth and the words merge until they become one current of energy flowing through you. Maintain this union of speech and sensation until you sense your words have come alive. No longer mere sounds, but carriers of transformative power. Chapter 10. The Momentum Loop. In a small village among ancient hills, a woman named Fay Cole discovered a truth that would transform her understanding of manifestation. Each morning she would pause to notice the smallest shifts in her reality. A kind word from a stranger, an unexpected coin on her path, a moment of perfect timing. With each observation, she felt a surge of genuine appreciation, letting the feeling saturate her being. As days passed, these minor blessings multiplied exponentially, as if responding to her attention. The universe speaks in whispers before it speaks in shouts. When you align your words with authentic feeling, you initiate a sacred dialogue with the infinite. Each word carries a vibration, and that vibration must match the emotion behind it. This is why empty affirmations fall flat, while heartfelt recognition creates momentum. Consider how a garden grows, not in sudden leaps, but through consistent nurturing. Your manifestations follow the same natural law. When you celebrate the first green shoot, you feed the entire harvest to come. Your recognition becomes the water that nourishes future abundance. In contrast, Leon Beck walked a different path. Though blessed with similar opportunities, he fixated on what was missing. "My business grew only 10%, he would lament, or "just 3 new clients this week." His words, though technically accurate, carried the weight of disappointment. The universe, ever faithful to our deepest feelings, responded by perpetuating this experience of insufficiency. This teaches us that energy follows attention. What you emphasize expands, whether lack or abundance. The universe does not distinguish between positive and negative focus. It simply amplifies whatever frequency you maintain. Think of your consciousness as a mighty river. Every observation, every feeling becomes a tributary feeding into this flow. When you align your speech with genuine appreciation, you create a powerful current that carries you toward greater manifestations. The secret lies in emotional authenticity. Your words must emerge from true feeling, not mechanical repetition. When you speak of abundance, let your heart swell with the reality of it. When you acknowledge progress, let your entire being resonate with genuine gratitude. Ancient practice. As the sun sets each day, find a quiet moment for this sacred ritual. Recall 3 instances of alignment from your day, moments when your desires and reality harmonized, no matter how subtle. Perhaps it was a timely message, a fortuitous meeting, or an unexpected solution. For each instance, close your eyes and fully relive the feeling of gratitude, allowing the warmth of appreciation to flow through your entire being. Let this practice become your daily testament to the universe's constant support, cementing the momentum of your success. This practice, passed down through generations of wise ones, serves as a bridge between thought and manifestation, between word and reality. Through it, you strengthen the sacred bond between your conscious recognition and the universe's infinite response. Part 2. The Art of Creative Reality. Chapter 11. The Command of Calm. In a marketplace bustling with traders and merchants, there lived a woman known for her exquisite tapestries. Elsa Tate had built her reputation through years of dedication. Yet when challenges arose, her hands would tremble and her mind would race. Each setback, a delayed shipment, a difficult customer, a torn fabric, would send her into spirals of worry that seemed to multiply her troubles. Then one day, while watching dewdrops settle on a spider's web, she witnessed how the delicate strands remained steady despite the morning breeze. In that moment, a profound understanding washed over her. Nature's greatest forces move with quiet certainty. When you attune yourself to the rhythm of the universe, you discover that power flows not through friction, but through harmony. Your relationship with circumstances shapes their response to you. Each challenge presents not an obstacle, but an invitation to demonstrate mastery through peace. The universe responds not to what you demand, but to what you embody. When your inner state remains unshaken, reality bends to meet your composed expectation. This is not passive acceptance, but active authority expressed through tranquility. Consider the story of Grant Poe, a merchant whose ships faced treacherous waters. In his early days, he would pace the docks in agitation, and his vessels would encounter storms and delays. But after studying with an Eastern mystic, he learned to meet news of any difficulty with a subtle smile. Soon, his fleet began reporting smoother voyages and unprecedented success. His transformation reveals an eternal truth. Agitation creates interference patterns in the field of manifestation, while serenity allows solutions to materialize unimpeded. The universe cannot deliver clarity through chaos, nor can it align with scattered energy. Your true power lies not in forcing change, but in maintaining such unwavering inner peace that circumstances have no choice but to reorganize around your calm center. This is the forgotten art of spiritual authority, to remain so steadfast in your serenity that the world naturally aligns with your composed expectation. Ancient practice. When confronted with any challenge, pause and implement this timeless technique. Gently curve your lips into the slightest smile, as if you hold a secret understanding with the universe. Take 3 steady breaths, feeling each one smooth the waters of your being. As your pulse naturally slows, silently declare with quiet certainty, "I reign through calm." Let this practice become your first response to any disturbance, and watch as solutions begin forming around your centered state. Chapter 12. The Pattern of Flow. The tranquil power you witness in nature reveals an eternal truth. Force creates resistance, while calm commands cooperation. Those who have mastered manifestation understand that serenity is not passive. It is the most potent form of authority. Consider how June Dale discovered this wisdom in her artistic endeavors. Rather than imposing rigid schedules on her creative process, she learned to honor the natural ebb and flow of her inspiration. When her inner knowing whispered rest, she rested. When it urged create, she created. By aligning with this subtle guidance, her work not only flourished but seemed to arrange perfect timing for itself. Opportunities, clients, and resources appeared precisely when needed, as if orchestrated by an invisible hand. Contrast this with Floyd Hart, who attempted to force his path through sheer will. The more he pushed against the natural timing of events, the more resistance he encountered. Doors that might have opened easily remained firmly shut, while opportunities slipped away precisely because he tried to grasp them too tightly. The universe operates through harmony, not force. When you align with its rhythm, you tap into a flow that carries you effortlessly toward your desires. This is not mere philosophy. It is a practical principle that governs all manifestation. Your emotions serve as a compass, indicating when you're in alignment with this natural flow. Tension, anxiety, and frustration signal that you're working against the current. Peace, excitement, and ease reveal that you're moving in harmony with universal forces. Each time you choose calm over chaos, you strengthen your command over circumstances. This is not the false peace of denial, but the genuine serenity that comes from trusting in the perfect unfolding of events. When obstacles appear, your tranquility becomes their transformation. The law yields to those who understand that force is not power. Alignment is power. The universe responds not to your struggle, but to your state. The calmer you remain, the more authority you hold over conditions. Your practice. At first sign of struggle, smile lightly and breathe until pulse steadies, declaring silently, I reign through calm. Move with your inner rhythm today, pausing whenever delight signals rest, resuming when inspiration itches. Notice outer timing echoing. Chapter 13. The Currency of Joy. In the village marketplace, an elderly merchant sat observing the flow of coins and smiles between buyers and sellers. His weathered eyes held ancient wisdom about the invisible dance of prosperity, a truth as old as commerce itself, yet forgotten by most who participate in it. When you exchange energy in any form, be it money, time, or attention, you set in motion a cosmic circulation that responds not to the amount, but to the feeling behind it. This eternal principle remains hidden in plain sight, governing the ebb and flow of abundance with unfailing precision. Minnie Ray embodied this wisdom naturally, though she never studied spiritual texts. Each morning, she purchased her coffee with such genuine delight that the simple transaction became a celebration. Her joy in giving created a magnetic field that drew unexpected returns. Refunds appeared in her mailbox, forgotten rebates surfaced, and surprise discounts found their way to her. The universe simply mirrored her delight in circulation. Through her, we glimpse the deeper mechanics of prosperity. Joy circulates with the same mathematical certainty as currency. Each exchange carries your emotional signature into the invisible realm, where it multiplies according to its nature. Dean Crow walked a different path. His hands clutched coins with tension, his payments accompanied by subtle resentment. Though he earned well, his resistance to giving created a corresponding resistance in receiving. Shortages followed him like shadows, each reluctant exchange reinforcing the pattern of constriction. The universe, in its perfect reflection, simply matched his energetic grip. These contrasting paths illuminate the law governing all exchange. The feeling during the transaction determines its return velocity. When you give with joy, you activate a current of prosperity that flows back with increased momentum. When you give with resistance, you create friction in the very circuit meant to nurture you. This truth extends beyond monetary transactions into every exchange: your time, your attention, your love. Each represents a stream in the greater river of abundance, and your emotional signature determines its flow. Sacred practice. Before engaging in any payment or exchange, pause for a moment. Allow a genuine smile to arise, recognizing yourself as both giver and receiver in one unified breath. Feel the joy of participation in life's grand circulation. In this conscious practice, you'll watch prosperity begin to orbit your life like a friendly comet, drawn by your alignment with the natural law of joyful exchange. Before we get into the next chapter, you can download a free ebook version of this audiobook using the link in the pinned comment below this video. Chapter 14. The Unity of Intention. In the quiet halls of an ancient temple, a master musician taught his students a truth that transcended mere melody. He asked them to play different songs simultaneously. The result was chaos, each beautiful piece canceling out the others. Then he guided them to perform one composition in perfect harmony. The temple walls seemed to vibrate with power, as if the unified sound had awakened something sleeping in the stone. This wisdom echoes through the chambers of manifestation. Your desires are like musical notes, and your consciousness is the instrument through which they play. When you scatter your focus across multiple frequencies, you create discord in the universal field. Sarah Lorne experienced this principle firsthand. Her mind raced between wanting success in her art, longing for romance, seeking financial security, and pursuing spiritual growth. Each desire carried its own unique vibration, yet none received enough sustained energy to fully materialize. The universe, receiving these mixed signals, responded with partial manifestations, glimpses of possibility that never quite solidified into reality. The turning point came when she recognized that beneath all her desires lay a single pure note, the feeling of creative freedom. Once she unified her focus on this core vibration, everything shifted. Her art began selling effortlessly, attracting collectors who valued her unique vision. A partnership blossomed naturally with someone who understood her creative spirit. Financial opportunities appeared that supported her artistic journey. Victor Snow's journey reinforces this truth. Rather than pursuing wealth, recognition, and influence as separate goals, he distilled his focus to one clear, energetic signature, the feeling of joyful contribution. This unified field of happiness became his only focus, his single song. The universe, receiving this pure, uncontaminated frequency, orchestrated circumstances with remarkable precision. Opportunities aligned, relationships deepened, and resources flowed, all carrying the same signature of happiness he had maintained. These experiences unveil a fundamental law. Multiplicity diffuses mastery. When you scatter your creative force across various desires, you dilute the very power needed to manifest any of them fully. Yet when you identify and sustain one pure frequency, you create a powerful resonance that the universe must match. Sacred practice. Take a moment now to examine your various wishes and goals. Beneath their surface differences, locate the core feeling that unites them all. Perhaps it's freedom, peace, creative expression, or connection. Once you've identified this essential frequency, commit to feeding only that emotion throughout your day. Let it color your interactions, infuse your work, and guide your choices. Watch as the universe begins orchestrating circumstances that carry this same energetic signature, bringing your desires into harmony with your unified field of consciousness. Chapter 15. The Bridge of Inner Work. In ancient times there lived a merchant who spent his days crossing between two prosperous cities divided by a deep gorge. While others used the stone bridge spanning the chasm, he insisted on taking treacherous mountain paths, believing himself unworthy of the easier route. His journey remained difficult until a sage helped him understand that the real bridge he needed to cross existed within his own heart. The power to transform your reality begins with transforming your self-image. The outer world reflects back to you precisely what you believe about yourself, with unfailing accuracy. When you attempt to manifest while carrying beliefs of unworthiness, you create an energetic contradiction that prevents your desires from fully materializing. The universe operates through absolute law. It cannot deliver experiences that contradict your inner knowing about yourself. Many spend years practicing manifestation techniques without realizing that their self-image acts as a ceiling, limiting what they can receive. Just as water cannot rise above its source, your external reality cannot exceed the level of your internal self-worth. Consider the wisdom revealed through Polly Wren's journey. She diligently applied every external solution, affirmations, visualization, action steps, yet found herself repeating the same patterns. Only when she addressed her fundamental self-view did lasting change emerge. The bridge to your next level of experience stands not in the outer world, but in the quiet sanctuary of your own heart. Edwin Nash's transformation further illuminates this truth. For years he viewed himself as a victim of circumstances, and life faithfully reflected back that identity. The moment he shifted his self-image from victim to creator, all bridges to his desired reality solidified. His external world rearranged itself to match his new internal truth without effort or force. This immutable law operates with perfect precision. You will experience what you believe you deserve, no more and no less. Your self-image acts as the template from which all manifestation flows. When you adjust this inner blueprint, outer circumstances must conform to match the new pattern. The second story speaks of a young craftswoman who created beautiful works of art for others while living in poverty herself. Though skilled in her craft, she believed prosperity belonged to others, not to her. A wise elder taught her to see herself through new eyes. As her self-image transformed, her circumstances naturally elevated to reflect her renewed sense of worth. The true alchemy of manifestation occurs not through endless doing, but through the courageous act of accepting your inherent worthiness. Every external bridge you seek exists first as an internal state of being. Ancient practice, the bridge of self-worth. Find a quiet space where you can be undisturbed. Close your eyes and picture your inner self already radiating with complete worthiness. See yourself standing before a bridge that leads to your desired reality. Feel the absolute knowing that you deserve to cross. Now, Step mentally across that bridge and notice the weight of old beliefs leaving the soles of your feet with each step. Let each breath deepen your acceptance of your true value until you arrive fully on the other side, transformed. Chapter 16. The Renewal Principle. In a distant kingdom, there lived a wise gardener who understood the deepest mysteries of growth. When winter came and his prized roses withered, villagers mourned their death. But the gardener smiled, knowing that beneath the frozen earth, new life gathered strength. Through his patience, he revealed that nature's greatest miracles often disguise themselves as endings. The universe operates through cycles of transformation, not through continuous expansion. What appears as loss often serves as preparation for greater abundance. Each perceived ending creates space for new beginnings, though your human eyes may initially see only the void. When Lydia Fox watched her cherished business crumble, despair clouded her vision. She interpreted collapse as punishment rather than preparation. Yet in that very dissolution lay the seeds of her greatest triumph. The structure needed to fall so that a more aligned creation could emerge. Through surrender, she discovered that failure was not her enemy but her ally, clearing space for unimagined possibilities. Carl Wynn's story mirrors this eternal truth. When corporate layoffs stripped away his security, he stood face to face with apparent devastation. But in that empty space, free from old constraints, he built something far surpassing his previous position. His success came not despite the loss, but because of it. The universe had orchestrated his liberation disguised as limitation. The law of renewal operates with perfect precision. Before any significant expansion, space must be created. Just as a snake must shed its skin to grow, you must release the old to embrace the new. What feels like loss is often life removing what no longer serves your highest good. This principle manifests through a wandering merchant who lost his entire caravan in a storm. In his grief, he took shelter in a cave, where he discovered rare gems that established his fortune. His devastation had guided him to greater treasure, though he could not see it in the moment of loss. Through countless cycles, this law remains constant. Renewal requires removal. Every ending serves as preparation for beginning. When you align with this truth, you cease resisting necessary changes. You begin to trust the wisdom that orchestrates your path, even when that path leads through uncertainty. Ancient practice, the gratitude of renovation. Find an area of your life currently experiencing uncertainty or apparent loss. Sit quietly and acknowledge this space as the renovation stage of something greater emerging. Speak these words with genuine feeling. I thank this uncertainty, knowing it prepares space for my next expansion. I trust the wisdom that guides my renewal. Feel gratitude for the very process that seems to challenge you, understanding that through this transformation, new life takes root. Chapter 17. The Power of Presence. In a bustling marketplace, a merchant sat surrounded by the finest silks, yet customers passed without pause. For years his mind wandered between past regrets and future fears while mechanically conducting trade. His wares gathered dust as his scattered thoughts dimmed their luster. The ancient law of presence reveals a truth as old as time itself. Power flows only through the gateway of now. When your awareness splinters across yesterday and tomorrow, you fracture the very force that manifests your desires. The universe responds not to divided attention, but to the concentrated beam of present awareness. Your consciousness is the instrument through which all creation flows. Like sunlight focused through a magnifying glass, your attention holds the power to ignite or remain diffuse. Each moment you drift from now dilutes your creative force, spreading thin the energy that could transform your reality. Consider how nature operates. A tree does not grow while dreaming of future forests, nor does a river flow while remembering yesterday's course. They exist fully in their present expression, and through that complete presence, they fulfill their purpose with perfect power. The merchant discovered this truth one morning when, exhausted from mental wandering, he simply sat with his silks. For the first time, he felt their texture, noticed their sheen, and appreciated their beauty without thought of profit or loss. That very day, a noble was drawn to his stall, remarking on the exceptional quality that seemed to radiate from his wares. Iris Cole embodied this principle when she noticed her scattered focus diminished her impact. By bringing her full attention to one task at a time, she discovered that presence acted as a lens, concentrating her energy into powerful results. Her business tripled not through additional effort, but through the amplified power of undivided attention. Owen Fry's story mirrors this truth. For years, he searched for love while his mind constantly projected into future scenarios and possibilities. It was only when he learned to be fully present with himself and others that his heart's desire manifested. Through complete presence, he became magnetic to the very connection he sought. The law operates with mathematical precision. Your manifestations multiply in direct proportion to your presence. When you scatter your awareness across time, you diffuse your creative power. But when you gather yourself fully in the now, you become a conductor of universal force. Practice. Sacred present moment. Settle into whatever activity currently engages you. Feel the physical sensations of your body as you move, work, or rest. Notice the texture of this moment, the sounds, the temperature, the weight of your body, the rhythm of your breath. Let your awareness rest fully in these sensations, allowing this moment to be your only reality. Through this complete presence, you open the channel through which all success flows. Chapter 18. The Hidden Equation of Service. In an ancient temple garden, two fountains stood side by side. One flowed freely, its waters dancing in perpetual motion, creating a haven where travelers refreshed themselves. The other remained sealed, hoarding its waters, growing stagnant with time. Nature teaches through such simple truths. Abundance multiplies through movement and withers in containment. The universal law of circulation operates with unwavering precision. Like blood flowing through veins or air moving through lungs, wisdom and prosperity must circulate to remain vital. When you grasp this principle, you understand that giving and receiving are not opposite actions, but different expressions of the same force. Every insight you share, every encouragement you offer, creates ripples in the infinite field of consciousness. These ripples return multiplied, carrying fresh opportunities and expanded understanding. The universe operates through exchange, not accumulation. To hold knowledge sacred means to share it, not to guard it. Ella Rusk discovered this truth through experience. As she freely shared her understanding of manifestation principles with others, she noticed an interesting phenomenon. Her own clarity deepened, and her prosperity expanded in unexpected ways. Each time she helped another person grasp these universal laws, her own connection to the infinite strengthened. Her service became a channel through which abundance flowed both ways. In contrast, Dale Rhea believed that keeping manifestation techniques to himself would preserve his advantage. He guarded his knowledge jealously, fearing that sharing would diminish his power. Yet the more tightly he held his wisdom, the more his own progress stagnated. Like the sealed fountain, his energy grew stale without the refreshing current of exchange. The law reveals itself. What you withhold contracts. What you share expands. This is not mere philosophy, but a practical principle of energy dynamics. When you freely offer what you've learned, you align with the natural flow of universal abundance. Your generosity creates a current that carries both giver and receiver toward greater expansion. Think of how sunlight operates. It gives itself freely, yet never diminishes. The more it shines, the more life flourishes beneath its rays. Your wisdom, like sunlight, multiplies through distribution. Each person who benefits from your sharing becomes another point of light, amplifying the original gift. Practice the flow of giving. Today, offer knowledge or encouragement freely to someone who could benefit. As you share, become aware of the energy flowing between you and the receiver. Notice how the act of giving creates a circuit of light, energizing both participants simultaneously. Feel the current of abundance moving through this exchange, knowing that what flows through you also nourishes you. Chapter 19. The Elastic Universe. In a small coastal town, Clara West lived by the rigid dictates of what she believed possible. Each morning she would check her watch precisely at 7 a.m., catch the 7:45 bus, and arrive at work by 8:30, never imagining these fixed patterns could shift. Until one day, running late for an important meeting, she closed her eyes and simply knew she would arrive on time. Though traffic lined the streets, lights turned green as she approached. A parking spot opened directly in front of her building, and she walked into the conference room at exactly 9 a.m. The physical world operates on deeper principles than most realize. What appears as solid matter responds to the subtle influence of consciousness. When you soften your assumptions about what must be, reality reveals its fluid nature. The universe bends and flows according to expectation, conforming to the shape of your deepest convictions. Stanley Boone discovered this truth through an experiment in connection. Having always viewed meaningful friendships as rare and difficult to cultivate, he decided to test the boundaries of possibility. He began visualizing himself surrounded by extraordinary people who shared his passions and values. Rather than forcing connections, he simply held the quiet certainty that these relationships already existed, waiting to emerge into his experience. Within weeks, seemingly chance encounters led him to kindred spirits. A random coffee shop conversation connected him to a writing group. A delayed flight seated him next to a business mentor. The improbable became probable through his willingness to expect it. These experiences point to a fundamental truth. The physical world is more responsive to consciousness than we imagine. Like a hologram shimming into different forms as you shift perspective, reality rearranges itself according to the observer's expectation. The key lies not in forcing change through willpower, but in gently allowing new possibilities to emerge by expanding your sense of what's natural and normal. Ancient practice of reality shaping. Sit quietly and imagine reality as a soft, responsive fabric surrounding you in all directions. Feel how it yields to your lightest thought, like silk responding to a gentle breeze. Move your awareness through this fabric with reverence and wonder, noticing how it bends and flows with your attention. As you encounter any seemingly solid circumstance in your life, touch it softly with your expectation of flexibility. Observe how the rigid becomes fluid under the influence of your transformed perception. Practice this throughout your day, approaching each moment with the knowledge that reality is far more malleable than it appears. Chapter 20. The Language of Energy. In the quiet dawn hours, Netgale discovered a truth that transcended speech. While others filled journals with written affirmations, she noticed subtle shifts occurring before her thoughts crystallized into words. A feeling would arise, weightless yet potent, and reality would respond as if receiving clear instruction. Without uttering a sound, she watched her world transform through the pure language of energy. The universe comprehends vibration before vocabulary. Like music that needs no translation, your deepest intentions communicate through frequency rather than form. Each desire carries its own energetic signature, a unique pattern that reality recognizes and reflects. When you learn to broadcast purely through feeling, manifestation accelerates beyond the speed of speech. Wayne Cobb mastered this silent dialogue during his years as a struggling artist. Rather than repeating phrases about abundance, he would sit in his studio and attune himself to the exact feeling of creative fulfillment. He noticed that when he matched his inner state precisely to his desired outcome, without trying to name or describe it, opportunities appeared with uncanny timing. A collector would call unexpectedly, or a gallery would reach out, as if responding to his wordless broadcast. Your consciousness speaks constantly to the field of infinite possibility, but its most powerful transmissions bypass language entirely. Before thoughts become verbal, they exist as pure potential, raw creative energy waiting to take form. This primal level of communication requires no translation, no interpretation. It moves directly from feeling to manifestation, from energy to matter. Think of how a flower knows when to bloom without being told, how birds navigate without maps, how your own body orchestrates millions of processes without conscious instruction. This same wordless wisdom governs the law of attraction. Your emotional frequency carries more authority than any affirmation ever could. Ancient practice of silent broadcasting. Find a peaceful moment and close your eyes. Rather than forming specific thoughts about what you desire, allow yourself to feel the pure energy of your intention. Perhaps it manifests as a color, a sensation of warmth, or a subtle rhythm in your chest. Don't try to name it or shape it into words. Simply hold that frequency steady, like a musical note sustained in still air. Carry this unspoken signal with you throughout your day, letting it hum silently beneath your activities. Notice how the physical world begins to harmonize with this wordless transmission, responding to the pure language of energy that precedes all speech. Part 3. The Embodiment of Mastery. Chapter 21. The Discipline of Delight. In the bustling market square of an ancient city, a wise merchant named Millie Hart discovered a secret that transformed her entire approach to success. While others dragged themselves through their daily tasks, she infused each moment with deliberate joy, treating her work as a sacred dance rather than a burden. Through this simple shift, she noticed an extraordinary phenomenon. Her energy remained boundless, and prosperity flowed to her naturally, as if drawn by an invisible force. The universe responds not to the weight of your labor, but to the lightness of your spirit. When you approach your path with joy, you activate an energy field that magnetizes success without strain. This magnetic resonance creates a self-sustaining cycle. Joy attracts abundance, which in turn generates more joy. Each morning, Millie would set aside time for delight as faithfully as others' scheduled meetings. She transformed routine tasks into occasions for celebration, finding pleasure in the smallest details. The morning sun touching her ledgers, the rhythm of counting coins, the smiles exchanged with customers. This wasn't mere positive thinking. It was practical energy management at its most sophisticated. Through her practice, Millie discovered that joy acts as a spiritual fuel, powering manifestation far more efficiently than forced effort or grim determination. Her success grew not from working harder, but from maintaining a higher vibrational state that naturally attracted opportunities and resources. Contrast this with Bert Reeve, a merchant in the same marketplace who believed success required suffering. He approached each day as a battle to be endured, his resentment growing with every transaction. Though he worked longer hours than anyone, his energy field became increasingly depleted, repelling the very prosperity he sought to attract. The ancient law reveals, discipline need not feel like punishment to be effective. In fact, the most powerful form of discipline is one that aligns with your natural state of joy. When you infuse your practice with delight, you tap into the universe's own creative current, which always flows toward expansion and abundance. Sacred practice of joyful discipline. Begin each task by transforming it into a personal game or celebration. Rather than watching the clock, count moments of delight, a satisfied customer's smile, a smoothly completed transaction, a moment of unexpected beauty. Let each instance of joy become your measure of progress. As you practice this shift, notice how your energy field brightens and expands, naturally drawing success toward you with the magnetic power of genuine happiness. Continue until you feel joy becoming your default state, your natural way of moving through each day's duties. Chapter 22. The Alchemy of Perception. In a valley between ancient mountains, there lived two seekers of wisdom who encountered the same storm, but witnessed entirely different weather. Through their experiences, a timeless truth emerged about the transformative power of perception. When setbacks arrived at her door, Zoe Lark received them as honored guests, bearing gifts in disguise. Each obstacle became her teacher, each delay transformed into divine timing, and every apparent loss revealed itself as space being cleared for greater blessings. She understood that the universe never removes without preparing to give more abundantly. The secret lay not in denying difficulties, but in alchemizing them. When a business venture faltered, instead of shrinking in fear, she expanded in curiosity. "What magnificent preparation is this?" she would ask, maintaining her inner peace. Soon enough, The seeming failure redirected her toward an opportunity 3 times more prosperous than her original plan. This is the hidden law at work. What you perceive as obstacle or opportunity determines not just your experience, but the very molecular structure of events unfolding in your life. Your emotional response to circumstances literally rearranges their energetic composition. Earl Grimm walked the same valley but saw only shadows where Zoe found light. When plans went awry, he labeled them failures and sealed their fate with the heavy energy of judgment. Each setback became proof of life's hostility rather than its wisdom. By viewing challenges as permanent defeats, he unknowingly crystallized them into repeated patterns. The universe speaks in the language of energy before it manifests as circumstance. When you greet difficulty with resistance, you freeze its potential for transformation. But when you meet it with the warmth of wisdom, even the hardest circumstances begin to soften and reshape themselves according to your higher understanding. This is not mere philosophy, but practical alchemy. Every event arrives as raw material waiting to be transformed by your perception. The same situation that breaks one person becomes the breakthrough for another. The difference lies not in the event itself, but in the consciousness that receives it. Sacred practice. The transmutation. Whenever challenge appears in your life, pause and speak these words with quiet certainty. This too is gold still cooling. Feel the truth of this statement in your body. Notice how this simple shift in perception begins to change the very atmosphere around the situation. Watch as what seemed like base metal starts revealing its hidden precious nature. This is not positive thinking. It is energetic transformation at its most fundamental level. The universe has no preference for difficulty or ease. It simply responds to your recognition. What you greet as blessing begins to behave as blessing. What you meet with wisdom transforms into wisdom. This is the ancient art of spiritual alchemy, turning every experience into gold through the power of enlightened perception. Chapter 23. The Equation of Rest. In the heart of a bustling marketplace, a wise merchant once discovered that his finest silks sold themselves when he stepped away to breathe. Each time he returned from these moments of stillness, gold seemed to flow more freely through his hands. Yet, in his younger days, he had believed rest was the enemy of abundance. The universe speaks in whispers, not shouts. Its gentlest guidance comes when the mind grows quiet enough to receive. This ancient truth remains hidden from those who mistake constant motion for mastery. The sacred pause, this moment of apparent emptiness, holds the seeds of your next quantum leap. Vera Dell embodied this wisdom after years of resistance. Her healing practice had plateaued despite her relentless dedication. Each day stretched longer than the last as she pushed herself to serve more clients, create more content, reach more people. Yet something felt misaligned. Her energy grew thin, her intuition muffled. It wasn't until physical exhaustion forced her to rest that she discovered an extraordinary truth. During a necessary afternoon nap, her phone lit up with messages from ideal clients, as if her surrender had activated a dormant frequency. The moment she allowed herself to replenish, the universe responded with abundance. This pattern repeated until she could no longer deny its significance. Her most profound business breakthroughs arrived not during strategic planning sessions, but in the spaces between effort. The pause itself was productive. Nolan Ross learned this lesson through contrast. His software company operated at a relentless pace, each team member wearing exhaustion as a badge of honor. Despite increasing hours and effort, results diminished. Projects that once flowed smoothly began to stall. Innovation dried up. The very energy that had launched his success now seemed to repel it. What he had failed to grasp was nature's fundamental rhythm, the necessary alternation between expression and rest. Just as the soil must lie fallow to restore its fertility, human creativity requires seasons of regeneration. The law works with elegant simplicity. Rest is not the opposite of productivity, but its very foundation. When you honor the sacred pause, you align with the universe's natural pulse. This alignment magnetizes opportunities, synchronicities, and solutions that no amount of forcing could achieve. Practice. The reset ritual. Throughout your day, treat every sigh as a sacred reset button. When you feel the natural impulse to exhale deeply, pause completely. Allow that sigh to be a conscious invitation for cosmic recalibration. Feel your entire being realign before your next inspired action. In this brief stillness, you open a channel for universal intelligence to optimize your path forward. Chapter 24. The Spiral of Evolution. In ancient times, a temple keeper noticed that pilgrims always circled the sacred mountain before ascending. When asked why they didn't climb straight up, the wise one smiled and pointed to nature's own design, the way water spirals as it flows, how galaxies spin in cosmic dance, how shells grow in perfect Fibonacci sequence. You stand now at the threshold of understanding one of existence's most beautiful mysteries, the spiral nature of growth. The universe never moves in simple straight lines, but in magnificent spirals that revisit familiar ground at higher elevations. What appears as repetition is truly ascension. Laura Key discovered this truth through her journey of personal mastery. At first, she felt discouraged when certain challenges seemed to resurface. The same relationship patterns, financial concerns, or creative blocks would emerge just when she thought she'd moved beyond them. But then she noticed something remarkable. Each repetition carried a subtle difference. The core themes might echo, but her relationship to them had shifted dramatically. Where once she faced financial uncertainty with panic, she now met it with practiced wisdom. What previously triggered relationship chaos now invited deeper understanding. The situations hadn't changed. She had ascended to view them from a higher vantage point. Sid Price initially resisted this pattern in his business ventures. Each time familiar obstacles appeared, he interpreted them as failure or regression. His tech startup faced 3 major funding challenges over the years, and each time he thought, "Not this again." But gradually, he recognized that each funding round operated at a different scale, first seeking thousands, then millions, then billions. The challenge was familiar, but the playing field had elevated. What appears as circular motion is actually upward spiral. Like climbing a mountain path that winds around the peak, you may pass similar views repeatedly, but always at a higher elevation. This is why ancient wisdom speaks of life as a spiral journey rather than a linear progression. The law reveals itself with elegant precision. Growth patterns repeat at octaves of increasing refinement. Just as musical notes repeat across octaves while rising in frequency, your life circumstances revisit familiar themes while elevating in vibration. Each turn of the spiral offers a chance to master what was previously overwhelming. When you grasp this principle, resistance transforms into recognition. Every recurring challenge becomes a marker of ascension rather than repetition. You begin to welcome familiar situations as opportunities to demonstrate your expanded consciousness. Practice. The altitude recognition. When a familiar challenge returns, whisper, "Welcome back at new altitude," and notice how ease replaces frustration. This simple acknowledgement shifts your relationship to recurring patterns, revealing the upward spiral of your journey rather than a circle of repetition. Feel how differently you move through old scenarios with new awareness. Chapter 25. The Harmony of Purpose. In a bustling marketplace long ago, two merchants set up their stalls side by side. One filled his space with exotic treasures, focused solely on amassing wealth. The other arranged simple goods with care, greeting each customer as family. As seasons passed, the first merchant's wealth brought him no peace, while the second's modest shop became a sanctuary of joy that drew people from distant lands. When you align your desires with universal good, an ancient alchemy transforms mere ambition into sacred purpose. Success seeks those who understand its true nature, not as personal achievement alone, but as a channel through which abundance flows to many. This wisdom lies at the heart of lasting prosperity. The universe responds differently to those who seek to serve than to those who seek to gain. When your goals embrace both personal growth and collective benefit, you tap into a power greater than individual effort. This is not sacrifice, but multiplication. For what serves all serves you more abundantly than what serves you alone. The error lies not in desiring success, but in believing it must come at others' expense. True prosperity expands like ripples in still water, touching distant shores you cannot see. When you infuse your ambitions with the intention to contribute, you align with the natural flow of universal abundance. Those who chase external measures of success often find their achievements hollow, like holding water in cupped hands. But those who merge personal dreams with purpose discover their cup continuously overflows, nourishing all who draw near. This is not idealism, but practical magic. For the universe multiplies what you share and preserves what you give. Each goal carries two potentials: to serve self alone or to serve the greater good. The first path leads to temporary gain, the second to lasting fulfillment. When you expand your vision to include others' well-being, you activate a higher law of manifestation. Your success becomes not just an achievement, but a gift that keeps giving. Practice. Close your eyes and envision your desired success. Now expand that vision to see how it might benefit others. Feel the warmth of prosperity flowing through you to those around you. Experience the joy of being both blessed and blessing. Let this double current of giving and receiving circulate through your being until it becomes one continuous flow of abundance. Hold this sensation as you move through your day, knowing that true success nourishes all it touches. Chapter 26. The Gateway of Authenticity. A deep truth whispers through the ages. Your unique vibration holds the key to manifestation. All around you, signs of this principle dance in plain sight, waiting to be understood. In the quiet spaces between constant motion, Nora Beck consumed endless videos of successful mentors, meticulously copying their morning routines, mimicking their speech patterns, and duplicating their business strategies. Yet with each imitation, her results grew weaker, like a fading echo. The universe seemed to retreat from her efforts until exhaustion finally forced her to stop. It was in that sacred stillness that she discovered her own natural rhythm. Rather than waking at dawn like her mentors, she found her creativity peaked at midnight. Instead of forced networking, she began writing heartfelt letters to those who inspired her. As she honored her authentic ways, doors opened effortlessly. Her work gained a magnetic quality that drew others naturally to her unique offerings. This eternal law revealed itself again through Tom Lee, who spent years modeling his consulting practice after industry giants. He followed their formulas precisely, spoke their language, and mirrored their methods. Yet success remained elusive, slipping through his fingers like water. Only when illness forced him to rest did he realize the strain of maintaining these borrowed personas had drained his vital energy. In that period of enforced quiet, his true voice emerged. He discovered his gift for telling stories that simplified complex problems. When he finally returned to work, he abandoned the polished presentations he had copied and instead shared wisdom through simple tales. His clients connected deeply with this authentic approach, and his practice flourished naturally. These experiences unveil a timeless truth. The universe responds most powerfully to authentic frequency. When you align with your natural rhythm, you tap into the infinite current that flows through all creation. Like a river finding its course, your energy moves with grace when you honor its genuine direction. Your practice today carries profound simplicity. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Ask gently, "What feels genuinely mine?" and breathe until false layers drift away, leaving radiant simplicity. Let your breath carry away borrowed patterns until only your true essence remains. In that pure space, feel how naturally your authentic power flows. Chapter 27. The Continuum of Gratitude. In an ancient monastery among misty peaks, a young monk asked his master why some practitioners achieved enlightenment swiftly, while others struggled for decades. The master smiled and poured tea into the monk's cup. He continued pouring even as the cup overflowed. "Like this cup," the master explained. "Gratitude must flow continuously, not merely at scheduled moments." This timeless wisdom reveals itself anew through those who discover its power. Your relationship with gratitude shapes the very fabric of your reality. The universe responds not to sporadic appreciation, but to the sustained frequency of thankfulness that permeates every moment. Polly North embraced this practice partially, dedicating her mornings to gratitude meditation. As dawn painted the sky, she would list her blessings with genuine feeling. Yet as each day progressed, her appreciation dimmed like a candle reaching its end. The evening hours felt heavy, marked by a subtle emptiness that seemed to hold her manifestations at bay. The law that governs reality responds to consistency above all else. Just as a river's constant flow carves pathways through stone, uninterrupted gratitude creates channels through which abundance naturally flows. This truth became evident in the experience of Theo Knapp, who discovered the transformative power of hourly appreciation. By setting gentle reminders throughout his day, he maintained a steady current of thankfulness that touched every activity, every interaction, every breath. As Theo sustained this practice, life began moving at a different tempo. Synchronicities multiplied, opportunities arose with surprising frequency, and even challenges arrived wrapped in wisdom. His experience demonstrated that gratitude, when woven continuously through the hours, creates a field of magnetic joy that attracts similar frequencies. The universe mirrors what you emanate. When gratitude becomes your constant companion rather than an occasional visitor, reality responds in kind. This is not about forced positivity or denial of life's complexities. Rather, it's about maintaining an underlying current of appreciation that flows beneath all experiences, like a deep river moving silently below surface waves. The ancient practice. Keep one grateful phrase silently looping beneath your thoughts like a background melody all day. Choose words that resonate deeply within your heart. Perhaps, "Thank you for this moment," or "I am blessed with infinite abundance." Let this phrase become your constant companion, flowing beneath your activities like a gentle stream. Watch as the rhythm of ease increases, as life begins dancing to this continuous song of appreciation. Chapter 28. The Field of Certainty. In a distant time, there lived a merchant who planted seeds in barren soil while his neighbors watched with skepticism. Day after day he tended the empty earth with unwavering certainty, speaking to his future harvest as if it already existed. When asked why he persisted without signs of growth, he simply smiled and said, "The flowers already bloom in the garden of my knowing." Within a season, his land flourished while others remained bare, teaching that certainty waters what eyes cannot yet see. This ancient wisdom reveals the most potent force in manifestation, absolute knowing. Not hope, not wishes, not even strong desire, but the unshakable conviction that already possesses what it seeks. The universe responds not to what you want, but to what you know is already yours. Rita Baines embodied this truth when launching her art gallery. Though months passed without a single sale, she maintained an unwavering certainty that success was not approaching but present. She spoke of her gallery's influence as established fact. She moved through her space as if it were already renowned. She thanked collectors before they appeared. Her knowing never wavered in the face of empty walls or silent phones. This immovable certainty began magnetizing reality to match its frequency. Prestigious artists began requesting showings. Critics arrived unexpectedly. Collectors emerged as if summoned by her unshakable knowing. The physical world had no choice but to align with her internal certainty. Contrast this with Frank Olin, whose tech startup carried equal potential but wobbled on the foundation of doubt. Though his product held promise, his uncertainty created static in the field. He checked competitor statistics obsessively, allowing each market shift to erode his confidence. His doubt became a chisel, slowly carving away at possibility until manifestation crumbled before materializing. The law remains pristine in its simplicity. The field obeys absolute expectation. It cannot help but conform to unshakable knowing. This is not forced positive thinking or denial of current circumstances. Rather, it is the serene certainty that recognizes manifestation's completion in the invisible before its appearance in form. Your knowing sets the template that reality must follow. When you abandon all backup plans, when you release the need for proof, when you stand in calm certainty, the universe has no choice but to conform to your unwavering expectation. The ancient practice. Stand tall, feeling success surround you now as atmosphere rather than destination. Certainty hums from spine outward, commanding matter to comply. Chapter 29. The Infinite Perspective. In an ancient mountain village, a wise woman lived in a tiny hut perched on the highest peak. Travelers often questioned her choice to dwell so far from civilization. Yet from her vantage point, she witnessed how the mightiest storms below appeared as gentle wisps of cloud, and how the most imposing structures became mere specks in the vastness of the valley. When you step into the infinite field of perspective, what once appeared as insurmountable obstacles transform into temporary arrangements of energy, awaiting your conscious redistribution. The universe operates through proportion. Your perception determines the size and weight you assign to each experience. Consider how a drop of water contains the same molecular structure as the entire ocean. Similarly, each challenge holds within it the same divine intelligence that orchestrates galaxies. It is not the event itself that determines its impact, but rather the lens through which you choose to observe it. Gail Rudd discovered this truth during a period of apparent crisis. Rather than allowing circumstances to consume her awareness, she expanded her vision until she could perceive the larger pattern at work. From this elevated perspective, what had seemed like devastating setbacks revealed themselves as necessary adjustments in the cosmic dance of creation. Her business flourished not because conditions changed, but because she learned to view each situation through the lens of infinite possibility. Louis Page walked a different path. He allowed his awareness to contract, focusing with such intensity on perceived problems that they became his entire reality. Like a microscope that magnifies a tiny detail until it fills the entire field of vision, his concentrated attention on obstacles created a world where nothing else seemed to exist. Joy, opportunity, and synchronicity continued to surround him, yet remained invisible beyond the narrow scope of his perception. The law reveals itself. What you amplify through attention expands to fill your experiential field. Choose vastness, and problems naturally resize themselves to their proper proportion. Choose contraction, and challenges expand beyond their natural dimensions. This principle operates with mathematical precision. Every time you zoom out to embrace a broader perspective, you automatically reduce the relative size of any perceived obstacle. It is not the circumstance itself that changes, but rather your relationship to it. Ancient practice. Each dawn, find a quiet moment and close your eyes. Feel yourself gently rising above your timeline, floating higher until you can see the vast expanse of your life's journey. From this elevated vantage point, observe how every situation resolves itself in perfect sequence. Notice the peaceful flow of events, the natural resolution of all concerns. When you feel this expanded perspective settle into your being, slowly return to present awareness, carrying with you that sense of serene proportion. Your feet may touch the ground, but your consciousness remains expanded, holding all experience in its proper scale. Chapter 30. The Arrival as Beginning. A merchant walked the desert path between cities, his caravan laden with precious silks. Each oasis marked not an ending, but a beginning of the next stretch of his endless journey. With each successful trade, his vision expanded to new possibilities, new routes, new treasures to discover. The universal law reveals itself through this timeless truth. Achievement serves as seed for greater becoming. What appears as destination unfolds as doorway. The moment of manifestation carries within it the whisper of what wishes to emerge next through you. You stand now at this sacred intersection where completion meets continuation. The universe knows no finale, only eternal unfoldment. Each manifestation arrives not as conclusion, but as confirmation that you have grown ready for expanded vision. This mirrors the way a tree reaches upward. Each branch achieved becomes platform for new growth. The sap of life flows without cessation, perpetually seeking higher expression. So too does the creative force within you pulse onward, using each success as foundation for fresh inspiration. Meg Kerr embodied this wisdom when she noticed how reaching a goal immediately sparked new direction. Rather than pausing in satisfaction, she remained open to the next impulse arising naturally from achievement. Her prosperity grew not through straining, but through staying attuned to this organic progression. The error lies in believing arrival means cessation. Victor Dale discovered this when celebrating a major business victory. In that moment of gratitude, he felt subtle stirring of expanded possibility. Instead of dismissing it as restlessness, he recognized it as life's invitation to greater expression. By honoring both completion and continuation, his success gained sustainable momentum. This represents the ultimate liberation, understanding that manifestation has no finish line. You need not fear running out of dreams or depleting your creative force. The universe's abundant energy flows through you endlessly, using each manifestation as catalyst for the next phase of becoming. Practice. After achieving anything, pause in gratitude by whispering, "Thank you more." Then sit quietly, sensing the subtle spark of new vision already forming at the threshold of awareness. Let this spark kindle naturally, without forcing. Trust that life's creative current moves through you in perfect timing, using each success to birth the next inspiring possibility. Part 4. The Eternal Practice of Becoming. Chapter 31. The Spark of Awareness. In ancient times, a wise sage watched as travelers arrived at his temple, each believing they had reached their destination. Yet he observed how every arrival contained within it the seed of a new beginning. This eternal truth echoes through the ages. The moment you grasp one level of understanding, a higher octave of wisdom beckons. Within the depths of universal law lies a principle so fundamental it often passes unseen. Awareness itself is the first step of transformation. Like a lamp suddenly illuminating a darkened room, the simple act of noticing your thoughts initiates a profound shift in consciousness. Lena Parks discovered this truth during a period of stagnation. While studying manifestation techniques, she realized she had been mechanically repeating affirmations without truly observing her own thought patterns. The moment she stepped back and witnessed her mental activity as a silent observer, everything changed. Her awareness became the catalyst for genuine transformation, breaking the spell of unconscious repetition. The law operates with precision. What you observe begins to transform. Unconscious patterns hold power only in darkness. When light of awareness touches them, they begin to dissolve. This is why Dean Frost's story carries such significance. Caught in a spiral of negative thinking, His life seemed locked in a downward pattern until one conscious breath interrupted the cycle. That single moment of awareness, that brief pause between thought and reaction, created space for new possibilities to emerge. In that space of conscious observation, the universal field responds differently. No longer are you swept along by unconscious currents of thought and emotion. Instead, you become the aware creator, choosing which energetic frequencies to amplify and which to release. The teaching reveals awareness as the quiet architect behind every transformation. Like a master sculptor who must first see the statue within the stone, your conscious recognition of thought patterns begins their refinement. This is not about forcing change through willpower, but allowing transformation through gentle observation. Practice. Ancient awareness ritual. Observe your mind like sunrise observing earth. Each time you notice reaction before acting, feel satisfaction ripple through you. That moment of seeing is creation correcting course. This practice, passed down through generations of wisdom keepers, aligns you with the natural flow of universal law, where awareness precedes all transformation. Chapter 32. The Flow of Expectation. Along the outskirts of a bustling marketplace, Mara Crane walked with a light step and smiling eyes. Each morning she greeted merchants and strangers alike with gentle curiosity about what delights the day might unfold. She never grasped at outcomes or demanded specific timing. Instead, she carried a soft certainty that good things naturally gravitated toward those who welcomed them warmly. When opportunities arose, a chance meeting, an unexpected invitation, a fortunate timing, she received them as though she had casually anticipated their arrival all along. Her life flowed with an ease that others noticed but couldn't quite explain. In contrast, across town lived Calvin Knox, whose shoulders bent under the weight of his expectations. He counted days until hoped-for events, checked his phone obsessively for responses, and met each moment with an edge of desperate urgency. The universe, sensing his anxiety, seemed to withdraw. Opportunities slipped past while he stared too intently at where he thought they should appear. Here lies a fundamental truth about the nature of manifestation. Expectation shapes reality, not through its intensity, but through its quality. The universe responds not to the force of your wanting, but to the atmosphere of your anticipation. When you approach life with gentle certainty rather than desperate need, you create space for synchronicity to dance. Your lightness of being becomes an invitation that reality gladly accepts. Think of it as the difference between chasing butterflies and creating a garden they naturally visit. The law operates with perfect precision in this regard. What you expect with tension manifests with friction. What you expect with ease unfolds with grace. Your emotional tone becomes the template for how experiences arrange themselves around you. This understanding transforms waiting from passive endurance into active allowing. Instead of straining toward tomorrow, you rest in the certainty that what is yours cannot miss you. Your role is not to force the timing, but to maintain the frequency of pleasant anticipation. Practice. Close your eyes and feel your desire as a pleasant certainty humming softly in your chest. Rather than counting days or checking signs, simply release your grip on timing. Let optimism stroll ahead like a friend reserving your table in the restaurant of tomorrow. This gentle trust, maintained without strain, becomes the very magnetism that draws your good to you. Chapter 33. The Quiet Law of Observation. In the sacred wisdom passed down through ages, expectation flows like water. It cannot be forced, only channeled. When you grasp too tightly, its essence slips through your fingers. Yet when you hold it with gentle awareness, it pools naturally into abundance. Consider the tale of Ivy Dale, who discovered a fundamental truth about the nature of manifestation. In her earlier days, she scrutinized every outcome, measuring each result against her rigid expectations. Yet something remarkable occurred when she released this habit of judgment. Her desires began materializing with surprising speed and grace. The universe, it seemed, responded more freely to her allowing presence than her demanding gaze. This mirrors an eternal principle. Observation without interference refines reality itself. Just as light behaves differently when watched versus measured, the quantum field of possibility responds to our quality of attention. Your consciousness shapes circumstances not through force, but through the subtle art of witnessing. Neil Burke's journey illuminates this wisdom further. For years he attempted to control every aspect of his manifestations, exhausting himself with constant manipulation of external circumstances. His breakthrough came when he discovered that simply watching and adjusting his own vibration yielded far greater results than any amount of outer action. Rather than pushing against reality, he learned to dance with it. This teaching reveals a profound truth. The one who watches and the one who creates are the same being in different states of awareness. When you step into the role of the conscious observer, you activate your highest creative power. Judgment clouds this power. Acceptance amplifies it. The mechanics of manifestation operate through this delicate balance of expectation and release. Your role is not to force reality into submission, but to maintain the frequency of your desire while allowing the universe to arrange the details. This is the art of effortless creation, holding vision without attachment, expecting with joy rather than demand. Ancient practice. Find a quiet moment and settle into a comfortable position. Begin to observe your surroundings with fresh eyes, as though witnessing a participatory miracle unfolding before you. Notice how each element, from the play of light to the arrangement of objects, exists in perfect relationship with everything else. Release any urge to judge or change what you see. Simply witness with appreciation and wonder. As you maintain this pure observation, feel how the energy around you begins to stabilize, like ripples settling on a pond, until the surface becomes mirror smooth. This practice aligns you with the natural flow of manifestation, where observer and creator merge into one harmonious force. Chapter 34. The Practice of Inner Wealth. In the quietness of dawn, a potter shapes clay with gentle hands, knowing that each vessel holds not just space but possibility. So too does the universe mold abundance through the subtle pressures of appreciation. This ancient wisdom reveals itself through those who have walked the path before us. Ruth Bain discovered this truth in the most unexpected way. Each morning, she would sit in her modest apartment, eyes closed, counting her blessings like precious jewels. She gave thanks for the sunlight streaming through her window, for the breath in her lungs, for the opportunities that each new day presented. At first, nothing seemed to change in her external world, But gradually, something shifted in the fabric of her reality. Her gratitude grew from a practice into a presence that surrounded her like an aura. Clients began seeking her services without prompting. Resources appeared at precisely the right moments. What others called coincidence, she recognized as the natural overflow of her appreciative heart. The law works with unfailing precision. Abundance manifests not through accumulation, but through the overflow of genuine thankfulness. This truth stands in stark contrast to the path chosen by Otto Nash, whose story serves as a teaching of what to avoid. Otto filled his home with expensive possessions, believing that ownership equaled abundance. His closets overflowed with unworn clothes. His garage housed 3 luxury cars, yet a gnawing emptiness persisted. He had mastered the art of acquiring but missed the essential vibration of sufficiency. Though surrounded by material wealth, the frequency of lack remained, disguised beneath his possessions. The ancient teachings speak of wealth as a current rather than a condition. Like a river, it must flow to maintain its power. When appreciation becomes your natural state, you tap into this eternal current. Your gratitude creates a channel through which universal abundance can flow freely. The deeper truth reveals itself. Wealth, in its purest form, is trust extended endlessly. It is the knowing that as you appreciate what flows through your life, more will always come. This trust transforms your relationship with everything: money, relationships, opportunities. Each becomes not a thing to grasp, but a current to direct with wisdom and gratitude. Ancient practice. Find a quiet space and close your eyes. Imagine yourself indescribably rich, not just in money, but in peace and usefulness. Feel this wealth as a warm current flowing through your chest. With each breath, let it expand until it fills your entire being. Now imagine this energy flowing through every interaction in your day. A smile shared with a stranger, a kind word offered to a friend, a generous thought toward someone in need. Stay with this sensation until generosity feels as natural as breathing. Let this become your new normal, your natural state of being. Chapter 35. The Pulse of Discovery. In ancient times, seekers of wisdom understood a truth often forgotten today. The path to understanding flows through wonder, not strain. This sacred knowledge awaits rediscovery through your own experience. Jill Ross encountered the same obstacle 3 times in her spiritual practice. Each morning, she would sit in meditation, growing increasingly frustrated as her mind wandered. She pushed harder, gripped tighter, determined to master her thoughts through sheer force of will. Yet peace remained elusive, slipping further away with each attempt to capture it. Then one morning, something shifted. Rather than meeting her wandering mind with resistance, she greeted it with gentle curiosity. How interesting, she thought, watching her thoughts drift by like clouds. In that moment of playful observation, the very nature of meditation revealed itself. What had seemed an arduous task transformed into an engaging exploration. The universal law unveiled itself. Discovery thrives not on endurance, but on wonder. When you release the grip of effort and embrace the spirit of exploration, wisdom flows naturally, like water finding its course. Wayne Dean's experience illuminates this principle further. For years he approached spiritual practice as a serious endeavor, his brow furrowed in concentration as he studied ancient texts and techniques. Progress remained minimal until the day he abandoned effort entirely. Instead of forcing understanding, he began to approach each teaching with childlike fascination. He stopped trying to grasp truth and simply allowed himself to marvel at life's mysteries. Suddenly, insights began to unfold effortlessly, each revelation arriving with the lightness of a butterfly landing on an open palm. His transformation reveals an eternal truth. The universe delights in playing with those who approach it with wonder. When you release the weight of searching and embrace the joy of discovering, life's deepest mysteries begin to whisper their secrets. The wisdom lies not in the intensity of your effort, but in the quality of your attention. The universe responds not to force, but to fascination. Each challenge presents not an obstacle to overcome, but a mystery to unravel with delight. Practice. Approach your next problem as though it were a puzzle crafted by a wise friend. Instead of tensing against it, smile as you begin to decode its message. Notice how the pulse of delight calls forth revelation, making clear what strain could never reveal. Chapter 36. The Horizon of Continuance. Long ago, a sacred truth was whispered among the masters of manifestation, one that illuminates the very essence of spiritual evolution. The path never ends. It simply spirals upward into ever-expanding possibilities. When Dora Lake first embarked on her journey of consciousness, she believed that reaching enlightenment would extinguish all earthly desires. She meditated diligently, practiced her manifestations, and achieved remarkable transformations. Yet with each summit reached, she discovered not an end, but a new beginning. As her business flourished, she felt called to impact more lives. As her relationships deepened, she sensed greater capacities for love awakening within. What appeared at first as disappointment revealed itself as the universe's greatest gift, the eternal dance of becoming. For in this infinite expansion lay the true nature of the divine, forever expressing itself through new forms of creation. Clark Wren's story mirrors this timeless wisdom. As a writer documenting success stories, he constantly searched for perfect endings, those dramatic moments of arrival that would wrap everything in a neat conclusion. Yet something felt hollow in these artificial endings. It wasn't until he embraced the continuous nature of growth that his own creativity truly soared. He discovered that genuine fulfillment resided not in reaching destinations, but in the sacred act of ongoing creation itself. These experiences unveil a profound truth. Consciousness itself is designed for eternal expansion. Just as the universe continues to expand, your awareness naturally seeks greater expressions of itself. Each achievement serves not as a final destination, but as a platform from which to perceive new possibilities. This principle operates through all of nature. The oak tree does not cease growing once it reaches a certain height. The river does not stop flowing when it reaches the sea. The stars do not dim their light upon reaching peak brightness. All of existence moves in cycles of eternal becoming. Your desires are not obstacles to overcome, but divine invitations to grow. Each goal achieved opens the door to greater awareness, deeper joy, and expanded capacity to serve. This is not the burden of endless striving, but the natural rhythm of soul evolution. Ancient practice. Each night, as you prepare for rest, envision yourself aboard a magnificent vessel, sailing smoothly across infinite waters. Feel the gentle motion of the waves beneath you, the fresh wind filling your sails. Express gratitude for both the distance traveled and the endless horizons ahead. Let serenity wash over you as you recognize that perpetual motion is not restlessness, but the very pulse of life itself. This is the eternal practice of becoming, not a journey to completion, but an endless dance of joyful expansion. If you enjoyed this audiobook, I created a free ebook version for you. You can download it using the link in the pinned comment. Conclusion. Your life itself is laboratory and masterpiece, an unfolding experiment in conscious creation. Each breath draws you deeper into partnership with the infinite, where theory transforms into living wisdom through your willing participation. The universe seeks not spectators, but co-creators who blend understanding with gentle action. True manifestation emerges not from rigid technique, but from authenticity at rest, that natural state where your deepest truth aligns with universal flow. It is faith in motion, expressed through each choice to trust, despite temporary appearances. It is imagination made responsible, where creative power serves evolution rather than escape. When you shift from watching to embodying these principles, awareness itself begins orchestrating reality's dance. The field responds not to what you know, but to what you have become. Every realization must ripen into experience. Every teaching must find a home in your cells. The mechanics unveiled throughout these chapters are not meant for intellectual collection, but for daily resurrection. They are doors standing perpetually open, inviting you to cross their threshold again and again. Each passage deepens the groove of mastery until manifestation becomes as natural as breathing. External success simply confirms the constellation taking shape within. Material achievements serve as visible echoes of invisible alignment. The outer world reflects with perfect fidelity the frequency you maintain. You will never be the same because you have remembered what was always true. Power does not live in some distant realm requiring pilgrimage. It breathes exactly where you sit now, calm and awake to your own limitless nature. The sacred laws are not separate from your being. They are the very substance of who you are. This is not a conclusion, but a commencement. The eternal practice of becoming continues through you, as you.
If you enjoyed this exclusive audiobook, I handpicked this next book which will change your life.